What do you think when you hear the word steroids? For me, I think of a medicine that if used properly, it can help a lot of different people in a lot of ways. It can ease you from a numerous amount of different pains and help you live your life successfully. But if it's used illegally or improperly or you abuse it, it can be a drug that sets you up for failure. Not only setting yourself up for failure, but sometimes the people around you because they're so affected by how you abuse the drug. Have you ever experienced somebody that's using steroids either legally or illegally? If so, what kind of outlook did you have on that? What were your opinions on if they should or shouldn't use them? And what changes did you notice, if any? Did you notice a deepened voice or any anger where a person probably should not be that angry? I know I have. I've had a lot of friends that use steroids as well, and you can definitely tell when a person is using steroids or abusing them. Today I'm going to talk about a few different facts about steroids and just some of the things that it does and familiarize everybody with the class about steroids and hopefully teach some people some stuff they didn't know. What steroids are, they're a male sex hormone testosterone booster, which means that all it does is increase your adrenaline a ton. It allows you to do things that you normally wouldn't be able to do, almost making you superhuman in a sense. A lot of people use it for an increased size of their body and increased strength just to gain an extra edge on their opponent or for self-satisfaction. A way to use steroids properly is if they're prescribed to you, follow exactly what the doctor tells you, take as much or as little, depending on whatever he tells you to take. Do that and follow the directions. That's a way to use it properly, but improperly is abusing it. Usually injecting steroids is an improper way to do it. Not many people are prescribed to injectable steroids. The types of steroids that are illegal is anabolic steroids. That's illegal for a lot of different people. Most people that use steroids are professional athletes. It ranges anywhere from football to baseball to hockey to bodybuilding. And bodybuilding is one of the main sports that people use steroids because the whole point of bodybuilding is to be the strongest guy around. Something that's actually surprising is a lot of normal people that aren't athletes or anything like that use steroids, but that's more for self-satisfaction and to please their own selves or to impress somebody else. A few uses for steroids that are a positive sense, first of all, is they've been known to cure certain types of cancer. Not specifically just the steroids itself can cure the cancer, but they can also help that. And they can also go towards curing AIDS, which is great if you're using it for that. A thing that's kind of up and down with the positive and negative of using steroids is it enhances your ability to react and your power, which if you're using it for the right reasons, that's great. But if you're abusing it and you're using it illegally and you're a professional athlete, that can get you in a lot of trouble, and it's cheating for getting an unfair advantage on your opponents. The effects of steroid use is it's almost unlimited. For men, there's a shrinkage of testicles, reduced sperm or infertility, baldness, developmental of breasts, or an increased risk of prostate cancer. For women, there's also just an endless amount of symptoms from it. There's a growth of facial hair, unnatural male baldness, changes in the menstrual cycle, enlarged clitoris, or deepened voice. Just some random facts about steroids that a lot of people don't know is a person that is abusing steroids takes those steroids between 10 and 100 times more than a person that is prescribed to steroids legally and taking them as they should. So that just means that if you're taking one pill and you're prescribed to steroids, the person that's not prescribed to them and that is taking them illegally or abusing them is taking between 10 to 100 pills of that same steroid a day, which is out of this world to think about. Another study has been done that showed over 1 million Americans still use steroids to this day. That's surprising because if you think about how many professional athletes and everything like that use steroids, it's weird to think about because of all the tests that they can do these days to find out if you're on steroids or drugs and all this different stuff that they have to prove that you're actually using steroids. Another fact which I found the most shocking of all is a mere 10% of high school students use steroids, and over 5% of those students that are using steroids are females. After I looked into it a little bit, I found it rather convincing because when high schools do their steroid test, they seem to test a lot of males over females because males, everybody thinks, are more susceptible to steroids, which apparently from the studies done, that's not completely correct. 50% of professional athletes today still use steroids and get away with it, and 30% of collegiate athletes use steroids today, which is also extremely crazy because they steroid test in all professional sports and in all Division I collegiate sports. My thoughts on the entire thing, I support steroids 100%. I back it up completely. I myself have used steroids, but I only support them if they're taken properly. If you're taking a pack of steroids and you're following your dosage and doing everything that you need to do to get yourself back healthy that has been prescribed to you by the doctor, then I'm all for that. That's a great thing to do. I am against it if you're using it for illegal things, as like getting ahead of your opponent and doing all this different stuff to give yourself that extra edge over somebody else, because it can wear and tear on your body. It does so many different things that are negative to your body, and it only really does one positive thing if you're abusing it, and it's so short term that I can't understand why anybody would want to risk that. The unnoticed and misconceived thoughts about athletes and steroids is you can have a baseball player and you can take him and give him steroids for a year. And a lot of people would say some of the greatest hitters of all time in baseball, they were on steroids, so they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame or whatever they want to say about them. But steroids only make you stronger for sports or bodybuilding or whatever you want to do. But they don't help you hit a baseball. Over every single sport in the entire world, hitting a baseball is the number one hardest thing to do, and that's a fact. So you can take as many steroids as you want, but if you've never played baseball before and you haven't worked on it for years, you're not going to be able to make contact with that baseball. It doesn't matter how strong you are. So what I'm really saying is people using illegal steroids, I'm not for it. I'm not against it, but I don't think they should be penalized for using them back when they were legal and breaking records, or records shouldn't be taken from them, because it doesn't help hand-eye coordination or depth perception or anything like that. All it does is help your strength.